I remember how excited my friend Marcus and I felt when we heard about the discovery of the hidden chamber beneath the newly built Berlin Wall. We both grew up fascinated by the stories of buried treasures and lost artifacts lying untouched since the war ended, so this opportunity to explore such a place was like a dream come true. We spent weeks planning our trip to Berlin, saving every penny we could to fund our journey. And finally the day arrived, and we found ourselves standing before the entrance to the chamber. It took us nearly 2 hours to navigate through the maze of sewage pipes and crumbling concrete until we reached the opening that led down to the forgotten room below, our flashlights illuminating the darkness around us. We descended into the unknown depths. As we continued deeper, the air became colder and damper, the stench growing stronger with each step. Then suddenly, the floor gave out beneath me, sending me tumbling forward, only stopping just short of a pile of dusty bones jutting out of the ground. My heart racing, I looked up at Marcus. Fear etched across my face. He rushed over, helping me to my feet as he spoke frantically. "Are you okay? What happened?" But before I could answer him, a low growl echoed off the chamber walls. We froze, listening intently. Slowly, the sound increased in volume until it erupted into one deafening blast of pure terror. Marcus and I covered our ears, tears streaming down our faces as a chilling breeze picked up around us. Suddenly, all the bones in the room rose simultaneously, rearranging themselves as if alive, forming grotesque shapes. Their empty eye sockets glowed with a sickly green light. They began marching towards us. My mind raced as I struggled to comprehend what was happening. My body trembled, barely able to move as fear paralyzed me. Marcus fumbled for his camera, managing to snap a photo just as the creatures charged at us. We attempted to run, but quickly realized our escape route was cut off by the ever-growing number of undead. Trapped in this hellish tomb, I watched world. It's almost as though whatever created them wants to keep its secrets close. Andre paused to take another sip of her drink. She set her glass down with a clink, then leaned forward conspiratorially. "I think it might be time to look into some of the lesser-known research facilities and military bases," she said. "I wouldn't put it past Hitler to try and hide his experiments away somewhere remote or heavily guarded." Sophia nodded thoughtfully. "You know, I actually came here tonight hoping you might say something along those lines. One of the witnesses claimed to see a massive steel door being rolled shut behind a group of guards shortly after your explosion. He didn't get a good look at anything else except the general location. But maybe it's worth investigating?" "Absolutely," Andre exclaimed, slapping her hand on the table. "If Hitler truly is hiding his darkest work deep underground, finding that door could be key to exposing everything." She finished off her cocktail and stood up decisively. "Let's go home, grab our things, and hit the road early tomorrow morning. With luck, we can find that door by sundown." Little did either woman realize as they left the tavern, however, that their destination held not only their quarry, but also death itself, for somewhere deep within the earth lay the remnants of Hitler's forgotten laboratories, infested with shambling corpses, twisted beyond recognition. Something malevolent slithered just beneath the surface, waiting to rise again once more and claim new souls in its twisted embrace. And yet, despite these dire warnings, both women pushed ahead with grim determination. For the sake of humanity itself, they knew they needed to succeed. With little rest, they hit the roads early the following day, traveling east towards Hitler's old stronghold in Prussia. The going proved slow initially, given the current political climate of Germany, but eventually they managed to pass through the checkpoints unhindered due to their possession of valid papers from Rheinfeld Academy. Over several days, Sophia and Andre made contact with the resistance cells operating in secret throughout Germany. Brave individuals who risked their lives daily to liberate information and supplies for the cause. From these sources, the pair learned that a large complex of abandoned factories existed northeast of Poland, which may have contained access points to an underground tunnel network. Intrigued by this lead, they ventured forth to investigate. After navigating through desolate landscapes ravaged by decades of conflict, they eventually stumbled upon a winding subterranean passageway hidden behind a nearby waterfall. Cautiously entering the dim caverns, they soon encountered signs of recent human habitation. Candles still smoldering, discarded food wrappers littering the ground. As the pathways narrowed further, Andre noticed an unusual odor permeating the air, a combination of musty decay intermixed with singed flesh. Shortly thereafter, they spied the source of the stench, a trio of dead soldiers lying amidst twisted wreckage. Dressed in familiar escarb with strange sigils daubed on their boots and weapons, they appeared to have met an untimely end via explosive traps set within the tunnels, perhaps triggered accidentally while attempting to conceal their nefarious activities. Determined to press on, the duo activated an emergency communication device belonging to one of the fallen men. Through static-laden connections, they managed to hear snippets of audio indicating that top officials from Rheinfeld, despite the shocking revelations, Andrea refused to abandon her quest for answers. She pressed onward alone, knowing full well the risks she faced in such bleak environs, but driven by an inner fire fueled by the countless souls lost to the Nazis' monstrous machinery. At last, she reached a towering metal door, adorned with sinister glyphs, carved directly into the rock face surrounding it. Using every ounce of strength remaining in her exhausted frame, she heaved against the barrier until it grudgingly screamed open, revealing a dank stone chamber beyond. The space echoed with an eerie silence, disturbed only by distant dripping sounds from unknown depths below. Amidst the ominous gloom, Andre discerned hazy outlines of cobwebbed equipment cabinets housing arcane devices. A variety of experimental apparatuses, some clearly designed to induce nightmarish physical alterations upon living subjects, even worse than those suffered by the poor individuals they had already seen earlier. But Andre fixated on what appeared to be a computer terminal, its displays blinking red in anticipation, connected to fiber optic cabling, snaking off deeper into the darkness. And beyond, her heart racing at the possibilities now before her eyes, she frantically typed commands onto the console, trying to divine whether any crucial data remained accessible. To her delight and surprise, she discovered extensive files detailing the entire history of Operation Morgiana's esoteric genetic manipulations. complete with detailed notes on each subject's unique mental states prior to induction into the project. Buried amongst these disturbing records, Andre happened across documents discussing certain forbidden archives kept separate from the main facility's collection. This information piqued her interest even further, hinting at an entirely different class of madness undertaken by the Nazis during World War I. Things better left undiscovered and buried alongside their perpetrators. Seizing a small portable hard drive found beside as Andre delved deeper into the mysterious archive, she became increasingly aware of an insidious presence accompanying her. Her skin crawled as an overwhelming sense of dread crept up her spine, threatening to paralyze her with fear. With trembling fingers, she continued scrolling through the files, determined to learn all she could about this terrifying program. The deeper she dove into the archives, the more she realized how many similar experiments had taken place across Europe during the war years. In Italy, Operation Media had attempted to cultivate psychics within Catholic orphanages. In Norway, Project Thule sought to resurrect ancient Viking gods through blood rituals. And in France, Project Cerberus utilized lysergic acid diethylamide, SD, to create super spies capable of infiltrating enemy networks without detection. These were only a few examples among countless others involving obscene forms of magic, dark technology, and unnatural abilities engineered by maddened mind. Each discovery seemed almost too incredible to believe, yet evidence mounted like grotesque proof piled high on a mound of bones. All these programs shared one chilling similarity: the use of children as young as 5 forced to endure brutal experimentation or indoctrination regimes involving drugs, hypnosis, and brainwashing techniques aimed solely at weaponizing the very essence of their innate innocence. Those unlucky enough to survive often went missing after being transferred elsewhere or released back into society without proper care or rehabilitation. Realization struck Andrea like a thunderbolt. The children she had been searching for might have never truly existed as such. They represented mere prototypes in some unholy endeavor to achieve the impossible dream of invincible fighting forces or invisible espionage machines crafted from juvenile minds imbued with otherworldly energies. Tears welled up in her eyes at the sickening realization of the crimes committed against generation after generation of kids, dehumanized and exploited in service of mankind's most depraved. For just $3 a month, you can have your name featured in my YouTube videos and descriptions. Not only will you be supporting my channel, but you'll also be immortalized in the credits of my content. If you're looking for something a bit more personalized, consider becoming a $25 a month patron. I'll voice your stories and bring them to life on my channel. Create a special drawing just for you, or even write a unique story tailored to your interests. So don't hesitate. Join my Patreon community today and help me keep the spooky stories coming. And remember, together we can save each other from the YouTube algorithm. Thank you for your support.